Within our mindset, we have tapes, lots of little tapes. These are little recordings that are made of made up beliefs. Now, where do these tapes come from? Well, come from our parents, our teachers, family, friends, social media, news. Now, are these tapes honest? Are they accurate? Are they real? No, they're not. Can you replace them with a more supportive, energizing, accurate, and honest set of tapes? Absolutely, we can. And so this is something we can take control over, all right, and put the right kind of tapes that are going to be supportive, that allow us to move forward. Remember, our thoughts become our words, which then become our actions. This is important to understand. So we need to take control of those thoughts that are in there. Two main categories of thoughts are fear and faith. There are some of these tapes that are built on fears and others that are built on faith. Fear is sometimes called false evidence appearing real. I think that's pretty interesting. Another acrostic for fear is forget everything and run. Just run. So we need to understand that fear is important. It's helpful to us for a while. But once it's used, we need to set it aside and keep moving forward. I was a rock climber and mountain climber for a couple decades. That was my main sport. And fear absolutely kept me alive. I would use fear to double check my harness, double check our knots. It was something that would keep you aware of the things that could hurt you, all right? Rockfall or whatever it was. As I move forward, though, I then move forward into faith, knowing that my knowledge, my strength, my experience, my partners, my faith in God, my faith in general is a powerful tool. So faith is the thing that overcomes fear, and it's something that we want to be mindful. We really need a little bit of both, all right? But we need to make sure that the fear is serving us in a small amounts, and then we move into faith. So think about this as we're moving forward. Worry is another type of fear. Let's get into a couple, break this down a little bit. Worry is a type of fear that wears you down and harms you physically and emotionally and spiritually over a long period of time, because it's something that can be there for a long period of time. And worry, as one example, it has health effects. It releases cortisol and epinephrine, which is adrenaline. It's really hard on our body. These stress hormones can boost sugars and triglyceride levels that are great for bursts of physical activity, but long term, it wears your body down. All right, it's not at all healthy for us. So we have to be careful about having too much of that. And so our thoughts, which could be worries, actually are releasing chemicals in our system. And this is something that can have a terrible effect on not only our health, but our mood, our posture, all of these things. Now, a couple examples where these mind tapes come from. My dad was not a loving man. Just wasn't. That's just how he was. This was a man who wanted people to fear him. He was an executive of a very large company. He was the number 3 guy there, and it was a company all of you would know. This was back in the 70s and 80s, and his style of management was based on fear. He liked that. And these days, any of the stuff that he did would be considered really bad to any HR departments that are out there today. They would not have been okay with the things he approached with. And so, as a kid, I spent 12 years listening to these negative tapes, that they were telling me that I wasn't good at anything. If I brought home 4 A's and a C for grades, he was the kind of guy who would verbally abused me for the C, and I never had any celebrations for the A. It was a constant push for perfection. He literally believed people could be perfect, and therefore you could never make him happy. Luckily, I had this awesome mom and this awesome stepdad that filled me with good tapes too. And so I think a lot of you could probably relate with this. And these tapes can come from a number of different places, but sometimes they're rather pervasive. Boy, they pop up in the interesting times, and we have to be aware of those things, and so that we can identify them and do something about it. All right. So now, after doing 20,000 professional coaching sessions with clients, I am very aware of the tapes people have in their heads. I understand there's an awful lot of limiting beliefs and positive beliefs that are in there in combination, different groups of combinations, but we need to, take charge of those.